Let's talk about Kramnik-Shirov counterattack. So we are talking right now about English opening, King's English variation, and yes, in this part we will do Kramnik-Shirov counterattack. So white plays c4, black play e5, and then knight goes to c3. Now the move for black is bishop goes to b4. This is interesting move for black. There are a few reasons. He at some point wants to take the knight and to weaken our pawn structure. We'll have double pawns on the c file then. Also he provokes this knight d5 move, after which he will probably play bishop c5 or bishop e7, and later with c6 to get rid of our knight, because our knight on d5 is quite exposed. So yeah, bishop b4 is an interesting move, quite popular nowadays, to be honest. So definitely, you should know what to do against it. Yeah, he played bishop b4, so why not to play knight d5? I mean, this is a good move for us. We will see later. White has some very nice variations. The bishop on b4 is hanging, as you see. There are four possibilities for black. Bishop c5 and bishop e7 are most popular moves for black, most popular responses for him. But he can also play bishop a5 or pawn goes to a5. Let's start with these two moves, bishop a5 and pawn goes to a5. So bishop goes to a5. What should white play? Let's play b4 with tempo. Now the main move for black is c6, but let's see first what will happen if he plays this inaccurate move, bishop b6. In that case, of course, c5. The bishop on b6 is not trapped yet, but almost, yeah. So black could play c6, the only move. Then c takes b6. He has to take the knight on d5. And then our b6 pawn takes on a7. Rook takes a7. And then let's play e3. As you see, material is even, but black already has some problems. He has double pawns on the d file. And he doesn't have his very, very important dark squared bishop. So he does this, d6, bishop b2, knight f6, and then let's play d4. Let's try to destroy his center. Knight c6. Okay, now our b4 pawn is under attack, so let's play a3. Short castle, and then bishop goes to b5. In the next few moves we will play knight e2 and short castle. Why did I mark these three pawns? Because they are not stable, and they will definitely have issues. I mean, there is an instant threat. Bishop takes c6, pawn takes c6, and then d takes e5, d takes e5, bishop takes e5. So black will have problems with those three central pawns. And by the way, whenever he push his e pawn to e4, then after knight e2, knight f4, queen b3, the d5 pawn will be in trouble. Also after rook c1, this knight will have to move. So yeah, it's not pleasant for black, definitely. So this whole variation is very dubious for black, and I'm pretty sure that if somebody played this to you, you will have good play. So bishop b4, Kramnik-Shirov counterattack, then just play knight d5. Bishop goes to a5 and then b4. Then in inaccuracy, bishop b6, and you should play c5. c6, take here, he takes, then you take here, rook takes, and then e3 first, d6, bishop e2, knight f6, and then d4. Better move than bishop b6 is c6 straight away. Again, let's take his good bishop. Dark squared bishop is very important in this variation. C takes d5, then c takes d5 for us. Now what? Black has two possibilities here. Queen takes a5 or knight goes to f6. Let's see queen takes a5 first. In that case, let's try normally to develop our pieces and we will have advantage. So e4, knight f6, our e4 pawn is under attack, so just f3. d6 for black, and then our knight goes to e2. Short castle for black, and then bishop goes to b2, so it goes on the long diagonal. Maybe knight goes to a6 for black. He wants to play knight c5 later. Then let's do this. Let's play bishop c3. Why do we play bishop c3? Because we would like to play pawn goes to d4 in order to break this pawn chain in the center. Queen d8. Then d4 is possible to play immediately, sure, but let's first play knight g3 to open diagonal for our light squared bishop. Knight c5 for black, and then d4. E takes d4, and then queen goes to d4. Our queen is ideally placed in the center. Bishop goes to d7 for black, and then bishop goes to e2 for white. We will castle in the next move and take a look. Why is white better here? The main reason is this bishop on c3. We have dark square bishop, black doesn't have it, and we will see that black will have big problems on this diagonal. So white is already much better in my opinion. So he took on a5 with his queen. What will happen if he plays knight f6 instead? This is an interesting move because he waits with queen takes a5. First he develops his knight and attacks our d5 pawn. Now what to do? Let's play e4. You see, we sacrificed the e4 pawn. We will see why, and we will see why black. If black takes it, he will have like big problems because we have excellent counterattack. First, I have to say that if he takes on a5, white should play f3, and this transposes. We already had almost the same position. Now we should play bishop e2, knight e2, bishop c3, followed by knight g3 and d4, like in the previous variation. So let's see now the main thing. Knight takes e4. What's gonna happen if he takes here? Queen goes to e2. If knight goes back, then we take on e5. That no doubt. So f5 is the best and I think the only move for him to protect the knight, sure. Let's play f3. By the way, don't make a mistake and play d3 here. d3 doesn't work because then there is queen a5 with check, you see. And then if you play bishop d2, I take everything on d2 and just the position is totally unclear. So d3 is much better. Sorry, f3. f3 is much better. Knight has to go back to f6. Then our queen takes e5. And then the best move for black is king f7. King f7 is a good idea. Now black is threatening to play rook e8 with skewer on the e file. We will do the same. King goes to f2. Our king is well placed there. Don't worry about it. It is totally safe. d6 for black. Queen goes back to c3. Interesting move. Our queen is good there because she protects the a5 pawn. Then if black is greedy and take on d5, then there will be some consequences. Just bishop c4, pin, bishop e6, then bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5, bishop goes to b2, queen takes g7 threat, so he has to play rook g8, and then knight goes to h3 with much better position for white. Black king is too vulnerable, too exposed there. we are going to play rook goes to e1, rook goes to c1, later this knight goes to f4 or g5. I mean, this threat, queen takes g7, is very dangerous for him, and I think positionally, black position is lost. So knight takes d5 is a mistake. Better move for him is rook e8, just developing move. Then let's play bishop c4 to protect the pawn, king g8, and then just knight goes to h3. And you see that this square on e6, this square is weakened, and later our knight can jump there. Also, definitely bishop b2 will be played soon, then rook from h1 goes to e1. We'll have control over the e-file. Our pieces are, as I said, very well developed, better than black pieces. And one more thing, I already mentioned that we have this dark squared bishop, black doesn't have it. That's big difference. So that is why white has clear advantage here. Okay, so we are done with this. I hope you understand. So after bishop b4, you should play knight d5. Then bishop goes to a5, and then b4. c6 is the main move for him. And then just take here, he takes, you take. Black has two options, queen a5 or knight f6. We checked both of them, and we saw that white has very good play there. Okay, what else? a5 after knight d5. So black wants to protect his bishop like this. If we take on b4, problem for us will be this open a file. Now black rook on a8 is good, and you know, it's now not simple to play as white. So of course, don't take there. It's much better to play a3 to get rid of that bishop. Two options for black, bishop c5 or bishop e7. Let's see bishop c5 first. Then let's play e3. Why e3? Because we want to play d4 to develop our pieces with tempo. Knight f6 for black, then d4. Knight takes d5. Now this is an important moment. I mean, which one to take? Should we take the bishop or the knight? We will see here in different variations, we will have different ideas. So sometimes it's good to take the bishop, sometimes it's good to take the knight. Everything depends on the concrete position on the board. In this case, c takes d5 is better. I mean, sure, we can also take the bishop here on c5, we will be slightly better, but I think that c takes d5 is better. We will see why. Black takes on d4, basically that is something he has to do. Then e takes d4. Now don't worry about these double pawns here. They're very good. I mean, sometimes we know, not sometimes, usually double pawns are not good. And if we have double pawns, then we are worse. This is totally opposite. Our double pawns in the center are limiting black pieces, and they are taking more space for us. So now it's very good to have double pawns there. Two options for black, bishop b6 or bishop e7. Let's see very quickly bishop e7. What will happen then? Then let's just develop our pieces like this. Bishop d3, d6, knight goes to e2. If we play knight f3, then maybe we allow this bishop g4 move. So knight on e2 is more flexible than on f3. Also, our knight will be transferred here on c3. It's very good. It protects the d5 pawn, and later it can be easily activated on both wings. Castle, knight d7, rook goes to e1, knight goes to b6. He's attacking our d5 pawn, and then of course knight goes to c3. What is our idea here? Let's play bishop e3, rook goes to c1, queen f3. We have more space, and we have better pieces. And one more thing, the pawn on c7 is weak. It is backward pawn, and we will definitely try to create pressure there. So try, if you have enough time, try to double your rooks on the c file. That would be good. Also, it would be great to double your rooks on the e file. So there are two open files on the board, C and E file. So just try to take them. That's it. And like, just try to have that. This is the thing in every variation, in every opening. Try to have good pieces, well-developed pieces, pieces on good squares, and then you will definitely have advantage. What will happen if bishop goes back to b6? Then let's play bishop d3, short castle for black, and then bishop goes to e3. Quite normal development for us. Rook e8, and then again knight goes to e2. As we said, it is more flexible on e2 than on f3. d6, castle, short side, and c6. I mean, black knows that he will have problems with the c7 pawn, so he's trying to do this. Let's play rook c1. Why would we take there? If we take, black is going to take with the knight, and then, like, suddenly black pieces are good, and he has pressure. Now the d4 pawn is not easy to defend. Also, he will develop his bishop maybe to g4, and he has good play. You know, try to avoid this. Why would we develop his pieces? Let's play rook c1 instead. We sacrifice our d5 pawn, but we will see this is not so important because black d5 pawn will sooner or later fall. Then let's play knight f4. We are going to take it for sure, no doubt. After bishop goes to e6, we can play something like queen f3, and we are going to take it. And we have advantage because, again, our setup is better and we have more active pieces. That's it. Okay, so don't be worried if you have double pawns like this in the center. So again, just let's repeat. So bishop b4, knight jumps to d5, and then bishop goes, pawn goes to a5. Then a3 for us, and then he played bishop c5. After bishop c5, we should play e3 in order to play d4. Knight f6, then d4, knight takes d5, c takes d5, e takes d4, e takes d4. Black has two options, bishop e7 or bishop b6, and that's it. What will happen if, after a3, if he play bishop e7 directly? Then there is no need to prepare d4. We can play d4 immediately. d6. If he takes on d4, he just develops our queen. Our queen is perfectly placed there in the center, so this is great situation now for us. Now just keep developing your pieces and everything will be great. So d6 move. Then let's play knight f3. We develop our knight with tempo because the e5 pawn is hanging, and then maybe e4 for him. Knight goes back to d2. Almost the only way for black to protect the e4 pawn is to play f5. Now after f5 there is an incredible move for white. I like it very much. It is knight b1. Why knight b1? Our knight will be much better on c3 than on d2. Also, we open diagonal for our dark squared bishop. This is the point. Knight f6 for black. Knight takes bishop on e7. It's better to take the bishop than to take the knight. In this case, we said that dark square bishop is very important in all these variations, so let's just eliminate it. Queen e7, then knight goes to c3, of course. Short castle, then let's develop our dark colored bishop. So bishop g5. Bishop e6 for black. And then let's play e3. The next move will be bishop e2, short castle later. Why not b4, maybe even d5, c5, with big space advantage, as you see, and with very, very solid setup for white. Yeah, I think this is pretty much clear. So after bishop b4, when white jumps to d5 and black plays a5, you should play a3. If black bishop comes back to c5, then e3 followed by d4. If it goes back to e7, then d4 directly. Okay, that's it about these two sub-variations. Now let's see two main responses for black. So what will happen if black play bishop c5 or bishop e7 in the third move?